I've been using the iPhone X as one of my daily drivers since November, and I find it predictably solid as all the previous iPhones I've used through the years. Then again, Apple smartphones are just known to excel highly, so it's no surprise that the iPhone X follows in traditional form. What's largely different though about it, unlike previous iPhones, is that it's the most expensive iPhone ever to be released thus far. There are flagships, then there are these ultra premium smartphones. Seriously, there's very little to complain about it. It has all of today's cutting edge features, it captures some stunning portrait shots with its dual cameras, and the phone just operates at a higher level than most of its contemporaries. Honestly, I could go into more detail about why the iPhone X is such an incredibly solid smartphone, but there's just one thing I can't fathom, and that's its $1,000 starting price. I didn't personally buy this iPhone if that's what you're thinking, but I use it for work. Instead, for the last year and a half, I've been using the iPhone SE as one of my daily drivers. Now, the cost alone is something that would cause me to second guess even the inkling of potentially forking over that sum of money. It's not cheap, so it made me wonder what the real differences are between these flagship caliber smartphones in the space versus, say, those low-cost budget phones that are a fraction of the cost. Naturally, pricing is the most obvious thing, but I thought I'd try to get to the bottom of it all to really uncover and comprehend the differences. So I've been using the Honor 7X for a few weeks now, getting really acquainted with the budget smartphone, and just like our review, I'm equally impressed that a $200 smartphone can look and feel this good. Beyond that though, I've been taking snapshots with its camera, I've been playing a few simple games on the go, and just generally using it as my daily driver. The first point I want to make after test driving the Honor 7X is that premium designs are no longer exclusive to high-end smartphones. For a long time, however, these so-called budget smartphones had the stigma of looking and feeling cheap. Anyone holding them would be able to instantly distinguish them from flagships. There are noticeable differences between their designs. The iPhone X has that glass meets metal construction, while the Honor 7X sticks with an all-metal one. They both have their charming qualities, but it's remarkable that there's very little in the way of being able to really differentiate the two segments by just judging their designs. Sure, the iPhone X features a water-resistant construction, something that you won't find with the Honor 7X. But beyond that, the line separating the two is increasingly becoming tougher to establish. Specs still hold some value to people, but when it comes to displays, it's not quite the indicator as it once was in the past. The two phones I'm talking about here are perfect examples of that, as they're very similar in the specs department on paper with their respective displays. Now, I can agree that the two are equally detailed, especially when you look at them from normal distances. However, it's when you look at them very closely that it becomes very evident that the iPhone X's Retina display continues to hold significantly better qualities than its rival. All you need to do is just to look at the two displays side by side to one another. Not only is the clarity better on the iPhone X's display, but colors pop as well to capture our attention. Whereas with the Honor 7X, it appears muted and washed out. Viewing angles too are noticeably superior with the iPhone X. It's safe to say that premium flagships still get better looking displays. Ask anyone in tech which one's superior, the iPhone X's A11 Bionic chip or the Honor 7X's Kirin 659, chances are it's a no-brainer decision for most people. On the surface, it's safe to say that after spending time with the Honor 7X, its performance with basic tasks such as surfing the web, composing emails, and shopping using the Amazon app differs very little from the iPhone X. Although, when I look at the details, the iPhone X exhibits more of a fluid response. And that's the thing, if you want to get stuff done faster, you definitely want to go with the iPhone X. And if you're a gamer, you'll definitely want to stick with a flagship caliber smartphone. Trust me, if you don't want to be bothered by any lag that might hinder you from finishing first place in Asphalt 8, then you'll want to pony up the money and go with a flagship caliber device. This is the area where I see the weakest performance out of the Honor 7X in comparison to the iPhone X. Graphically intensive titles just simply run smoother on the iPhone X, whereas with the Honor 7X, it's downplayed by jittery frame rates and an overall sluggish response. Another crucial area is the camera department, which can sway the buying decision tremendously for many people. Now, using the Honor 7X, I can attest that it can produce favorable looking shots when the lighting conditions are ideal, obviously. Unless you're super nitpicky, the quality from the Honor 7X can rival that of the iPhone X to some degree. Better yet, it also features a dual camera setup that's able to mimic those creamy looking portrait shots produced by the iPhone X's pair. Then again, Apple's flagship does a lot better job of appropriately applying that bokeh effect. Where we see the greatest advantage for the iPhone X is when we're snapping photos under low light situations. Even though the iPhone X's performance also diminishes, it's not nearly as bad as the Honor 7X. While some users are very adamant of how their photos come out, the Honor 7X's quality is by and large still passable given its pricing, especially for social media sharing. Over on the video side, the iPhone X's superior hardware also allows it to capture better looking video. You'll have the extra leverage thanks to 4K capture on the iPhone X versus just 1080p on the Honor 7X, so if you want some additional room to work with in the post-production process, 4K definitely helps. Not only that, but thanks to the stabilization that's available with the iPhone X, its videos are significantly smoother, making it less jarring when you're freely moving around. People use their smartphones for all sorts of things. However, when it comes to the basic essentials, like placing phone calls, reading emails, checking out social media posts, and watching videos, these two phones are capable of doing all of this. Although, the Honor 7X just takes a bit longer to do some of them. Naturally, if you're the kind with plenty of patience, this shouldn't be much of an inconvenience. On the flip side though, some people would rather want nothing less than the best performance, which in this case, they should just go with the iPhone X. In my experience test driving the Honor 7X, it suffices enough for the things I do with my smartphone on a daily basis. However, if I wanted to do more, such as video editing on the go, which I do on occasion, it's best to pony up the money to get the hassle-free experience with the iPhone X. So what does spending the extra $800 get you? For starters, the brand recognition of Apple's name. Chances are, if you intend on reselling the phone down the road, you're probably going to generate a higher quote with the iPhone X. Secondly, its processing performance is undeniably superior in every facet. So if you're not one for waiting, then you'll have to fork over the money to gain the speedier phone. And finally, it appears as though the camera in Apple's flagship is better equipped in snapping the best looking photos and video. Knowing the true difference in what each phone brings to the table, it's still feasible for me to use the Honor 7X as my daily driver. For a brand spanking new phone, it still blows my mind what $200 can get you in this day and age. Sure, it clearly has its deficiencies, but they might not adversely affect people in the same way. Those who don't care about playing games, the Honor 7X can more than live up to their expectations, while still saving them considerable money in the process. I'm still not too keen about the prospect of handing over $1,000 just for a smartphone. Maybe $700 tops would be more reasonable for me to pull the trigger on some flagship. Regardless, when I think about the savings I'd get going with the Honor 7X, I then think about what other nifty gadgets I can scoop up with the savings. For the same price of just buying that iPhone X, I can get the Honor 7X along with the Nintendo Switch for $300 and then a DJI Spark drone for $500. Then again, it all boils down to priorities. And that is it for this video, guys. I hope you like it. I actually find it very interesting to really understand the differences between these high-end smartphones at $1,000 versus those low-cost budget ones. While the iPhone X is great in many areas, I look at the iPhone SE that I've been using prior to it, and to me, that phone can still match the iPhone X in many areas. Sure, it doesn't have the fastest hardware or the best cameras, but for what I want in a smartphone, it gets the job done. So if you guys want to learn more about any of the stuff I talked about in this video, you could check out our website, PhoneArena.com. This is John V, signing off.